Hey everyone. So I want to talk to you today about my top tips for screen time for your family. Now, if you watched the other video on the research, you've got some basis for understanding these. These are tips that you can put into place right away because we all know that whether you're parenting a 2-year-old or a 12-year-old, screens are an issue, right? It's hard to get off of them. It's hard to manage them. It's hard to create healthy boundaries around them. It's very easy to slip down the slope of too much. It's hard to know what really is the right amount for your own family. So some tips. Screens have a tendency to produce really big feelings for parents and for kids, right? I think most parents have had at least one big challenging moment, fight, tricky time around a screen and a child. Whether it's your kid asking you 7 zillion times if they can watch Blue's Clues, or your teenager hiding out in their room, hacking into a cell phone, or your elementary schooler going onto a website that you didn't want them to see. So the first thing I want to say to you is be curious, not furious. That is one of my own personal mantras that I use when I think about screens and my kiddos, and it really helps me to orient, right? So what I want to do around screens, especially if it's kind of tricky, if it's been hard, if you're feeling like I need to manage this better, I want to understand my child's experience and help them feel felt, and I'm going to operate from there. So the mantra, be curious, not furious, reminds me, okay, I'm going to be curious about this thing. I can be curious about why my adolescent is looking at porn. I can be curious about why my 4-year-old is asking me again and again and again to watch the same show. What are they getting from it? Right? And what do they need from me? And can I join them? If they can't get off a game, can you learn how to play the game? Okay, so that then once you've engaged with that curiosity, you've joined them, we will talk about how to set healthy boundaries and hold them. So clear boundaries, that's the next one, okay? So the thing about screens is that you absolutely are the one who's going to decide what is okay in your family. And oftentimes what works against us is it's not the rule that we've chosen. It's our incapacity to be consistent. Okay, so if you have decided 30 minutes a day for my child, or I don't care what the number is, 3 hours a day, or 4 hours on Saturdays, but no other day. I don't care what the rule is. Get with your family and the adults in your family and figure out what the rule is. So if you have a partner, the other parent of your kids, figure out what the rule is, then present it to them and be consistent. So when you figure out what that rule is, I want you to state it in the positive. So that rule could be something like, homework first and then screens. So first we do our homework and then 30 minutes of screen time while mom cooks dinner or dad cooks dinner. Okay, that's fine. Now, did you notice I stated it in the positive? So be really careful about that. Notice that the rule is not no screen time unless you do your homework. That sounds like a threat. Your child experiences it as a threat. It sets everybody up for challenge and struggle. So state it positively. First homework, then screens. Or we always watch 30 minutes of TV. Notice it's not we only watch 30 minutes of TV. Okay? If you've decided this is the rule, don't bargain with it. Okay? Make it consistent. It's not like if you don't do this, you're not going to get your screen time. It's just a thing you do. It's part of the day. Okay. Be intentional about where your screen time is. So a lot of times when I work with families, and I've certainly had this experience in my own family, they start out with intentionality, 30 minutes before dinner or 3 hours on the weekends or one movie night a week, and then people get stressed, there's so much going on in the world, it slippery slides down a slope. And I'll just tell you, in my own family, this happened about a couple years ago. And what was going on was basically I had decided it was okay to have 30 minutes after breakfast so that I could have my coffee. And they were quite young, preschoolers. And what that spiraled into was like as soon as they woke up, so I could have another 10 minutes of sleep. Okay, another 20 minutes. Also in the car, I was letting them watch something in the car and they were constantly asking for it. And what I had to do to be intentional about it was actually go for a screen-free month. It was producing so many challenges in our home that we had to go for a screen-free month, and then we reset. And when we reset, we were super intentional about it. And because we'd had that experience, we were super consistent. So think about it. Give some time to yourself to figure out, like, what is the thing that you want, how much, when, and where. And then be consistent. Remember, you guys decide. So be clear with the boundaries, state it positively. You decide. And you let the kids know. And you can say something like, you know, we've had this other way of screen time, and in 1 week we're going to switch to the new way. The new way is 30 minutes or whatever, 2 hours. We've got 6 more days of the old way. Then we're going to switch. 5 more days. Track it on a calendar. Prime them. Make it exciting. And then on the day, it's like, today's the day. We've got 30 minutes. When you're done with your 30 minutes, come check it off. Right? Put us on a whiteboard on the fridge and let them check it off when they're done. Okay. Co-viewing. So we talked in the other video about co-viewing and co-playing. So high quality, highly interactive experiences are always better. So shoot for more of those. That could be FaceTime with a grandparent. That could be you learning to play a game. That could be making a video together. It's so easy. There's so many free apps that you can use to make a video. And we know that when we think about media literacy, and a really critical piece of that is being able to make and to create. So if you have a child who loves a show, say they love Paw Patrol, maybe you're going to make a video with Paw Patrol. They can tell their own story, you make it, and then you guys can share it with friends and family. That is a great way to do screens. And maybe you say, we're going to watch this season of Paw Patrol, and then we're going to make 1 more episode. Just do it on your phone. You can say, we're going to watch this Paw Patrol, then we're going to pick a character, and we're going to make a stop motion animation. Stop-Mo is a free app that you can download on your phone. It's super easy way to make stop motion animations, which is like just those animations that move like this, right? And your kids can pick their favorite characters. They can tell a short little story. It's just going to be like a 10-second thing, but you might spend an hour on it with them. Okay, so that's co-viewing and co-playing, high quality, highly interactive activities. And then checking your use. Okay, so you're modeling for your child how we be with screens. What do we do with them? How much time do we spend on them? How do we disengage ourselves? What happens if you're on a screen and a child asks you for something? All of those times are moments to model. Now, if you have a child who's asked you something and you've been on your phone all day and you've ignored them and you didn't really mean to, but it kind of happened, that is okay. That's an opportunity. You get to repair. So you can say, oh, Mama got so lost in her phone. I'm working on that. I know that at this time my phone should go up because now's my time to be with you. I'm so sorry. Sometimes is it hard for you to get off a screen too? You know what happens, and if your kid's a little older, you know what happens to your brain when you're on a screen? So kind of what happens is when I get on a screen, this part of my brain lights up, but this part of my brain, it kind of goes offline. And I forgot that's the part that's connected to my ears, and I forgot to listen. I'm so sorry. I'm really working on it. So you get to check your usage, and do you see how I can model for my child? Like, I messed up, but I'm working on it. Because I want them to know that sometimes it might be hard for them too, and that's okay. They can work on it, right? So it's like we're all in this together trying to figure this out. Okay, it's hard for us. It's hard for our kids. There's gonna be tricky moments, and I just label them as tricky. Call it what it is. Oh, you know what I realized? Mama's been on her phone so much. Have you noticed that? What's that like for you? Listen. Oh, I want to make a change. And then maybe you enroll your child in figuring out what your change could be ahead of you presenting their change, right? So it's like, what do you think would be good? You think I should put my phone up right when we get home or after dinner? Like, how could you help me? What if I make a mistake and I forget? Then will you tell me, Mama, it's not phone time, right? So you can be playful with it like that, with that modeling, and then you have something to lean on when you say to your child, oh, it's not screen time. Remember that time you reminded me? Now it's my turn. I'm reminding you. Let's go do something else. Okay, so be playful, keep it light, be curious, not furious.